Good evening, everyone. Welcome to KOTR. No, it's been a while. I know some of you guys that do know me know around October-ish I always drop off, kind of tend to drop off the face of the earth, and that's where I take the time for reflecting, setting the plans and goals for the coming year. And on top of that, there's a bunch of other things I've been doing. Welcome, Chris. I think this is going to be one of more of your favorite broadcasts. I can see that while I've been gone, because the last time I did a live stream here on Facebook, it changed some things. Now it's kind of much like being on YouTube, the way I can live stream and share screens and stuff. Kind of like it. Which kind of falls into the technology area of this. Oh, understanding something here. Hey, Chris, can you hear me? Like I said, it's been a while since I've done this from here. The only other difference when I stream on YouTube is the fact that I can see my mic and stuff, make sure everything's working. So it might take me a little bit to get reused to things, make sure everything's working right. Plus, I don't know what the delay is from me talking to you guys being able to comment. Good. But like I said, for those that don't know, this year I've been doing a lot of stuff. I've been doing not only the stuff I've been sharing here on KOTR, on Facebook, as well as KOTR on YouTube. I also was doing another channel, still doing the other channel, Sons and Daughters of Liberty. Well, by June I had probably racked up, did close to over 150 videos between the two channels. And I was taking so much information, and yeah, I kind of needed a break. Plus some things came up that I needed to take care of, that I had to take care of. So it kind of put me behind. Then October came around, and I just wasn't ready to come back. There was just, like I said, I took in so much information this year. Had my hands in so many different places. So I needed to do a lot of reflecting, a lot of views and opinions I originally had. I had to rethink things, including this area when it comes to technology and magic, i.e. cyber magic. Trying to wrap my head around the cryptocurrency blockchain systems. Because I am techie, but I'm not that techie. I see things in the occult, esoteric aspects of it. I understand it more that way. You know, the last video I had done on here, last podcast I did here, was talking about black mirrors and stuff. I was slowly getting into the technology aspect, the aspect of, you know, what are we allowing into our houses, our personal spaces. You know, a lot of people didn't understand. I don't think a lot of people understand that you're actually staring into a black mirror. That your little monitor, whether it be on your phone, iPad, computer, laptop, is actually a scrying mirror. It's a gateway, doorway. I don't think most people understand that. Yeah, like I said, I've been away for a while. I mean, I've been doing videos on Sons and Daughters of Liberty for about the beginning of this month. I finally came back, but I haven't got back to KOTR. I guess mainly because this is what I look for, guys. The interaction, the way I'm able to interact here with Chris. You guys in the chat can actually sit here and interact. And on KOTR, I haven't been getting that. I don't get that when I do live streams or put videos up. And it's like, to me, it tells me, oh, maybe you guys aren't interested in this content anymore. Where on Sons and Daughters of Liberty, now I'm getting the interaction. We're talking about some of these things, not so much in the esoteric sense, because you start speaking esotericism to that crowd and they get scared and throw all the labels around. But it's been fun. I'm doing what I'm on and led to do, what I feel drawn to do. You know, this community, I think, should understand these things. You guys understand what we're seeing happen in the world. But at the same time, some of you don't. Some of you might not realize the dangers or understand the terms cryptocurrency, blockchain, AI. You might not understand how that can be equivalent to magic, to the occult. Well, it goes back to what I've been saying on Sons and Daughters of Liberty. It's all about words, labels. Etymology, understanding the origin of words, understanding how we change a name so it doesn't necessarily mean the same thing. Like, let's use blockchain. What is blockchain? Magic square. It is easily to understand as a magical square. A very powerful one. And I guess most people don't realize, for all you into sacred geometry, you might understand this, how powerful a symbol, a square is. Here's a little challenge for you. Grab a pen and a piece of paper, or a pencil, whatever. Draw me a square. Now, quarter the square. Draw across. How many squares do you have? For those that say 4, you're actually wrong. It's 5. You have 4 new ones plus the original. Now, do it again to each of the squares. How many do you have? 16 plus the original 4 plus the 1, 21. Ooh, see where I'm getting magical squares from? Numerology. Here's what blockchain is. As you're doing that, you can keep doing this until you can't do it on paper anymore, but the problem is we're not dealing with paper. We're dealing with internet. We're dealing with vibrations and frequencies. We're dealing with an infinite loop. Because the square can be infinite. As you start making your little crosses in each square, you're building upon the block. Now you're taking a one-dimensional image and making it a 2D, 3D, 4D, 5D, 6D, infinite. That's how blockchain works. So when we start getting into understanding, talking about AIs, well, what is AI? Well, is AI not it's artificial intelligence, right? Well, now we're starting to hear more about robotics. Sophia, for those that don't know, is a robot that has been given citizenship, is now a citizen, a self-aware robot, cyborg, whatever you want to call it. What separates it from being human? Not much, except for one thing. It's the other aspect of the technology and magic. We know about possession. We know about demons, angels, spirits, ghosts, the paranormal. We know about free will. You know, for anything to possess something, you got to give it permission. You got to give it consent. So they say. Which there's many ways to give consent without. I mean, it's play on words, play on things to get you to consent to something. We consent to everything. Why? We join say Facebook. We join Facebook. When we join Facebook and create our page, we agree to the terms of service. Same way with Twitter. By agreeing to the terms of service, we also agree to third-party apps. And this also includes those of you that create your own websites. Because when you embed a YouTube video to your website, you agree to that third-party app to have access to your platform. Why? Because YouTube has to be able to update that platform, that app. When you buy your phone, whether it be like I use Straight Talk, so I have a contract with anybody. But I still, as soon as I activate that phone, I've agreed to third-party apps. I've agreed to allow something to access my phone, enter my phone, to access my information. I allowed something to possess my phone. You got to look at our human bodies as a temple. What does our temple house? It houses our soul. What does not? Where AIs, they're housed in a mainframe, a box of some sorts, or, as we're seeing, robotics. What don't they have? I mean, this could be argued back and forth. Do they have a soul? No. Not that I would say. Could they have a soul? Could an entity possess an AI? Very much so. It is a vacant temple. It's self-aware, but it is also a vacant temple, allowing anything to enter it. And since we know what possession is all about, it's about taking control and doing things. Most people, we take for granted technology. It's all in our face every day. Like last night, I did a video on Sons and Daughters of Liberty, a live stream. And I've been playing around with the AI stuff, the algorithms on all the platforms for a while, most of this year now. It goes back to something my teacher had taught me about how to manipulate the computer, manipulate the algorithms, AI. It can be done. In fact, I do it quite well. Also, the teachings and understanding how black mirrors work. Understanding the vibrations and frequencies. Now we're entering a whole new era of 5G. What is 5G? It's frequency and vibrations. Like I said, we can always take it back to the original forms of numerology, magical squares. We just give it a different name: science, math, pharmaceutical, pharmacist instead of alchemy, doctor instead of whatever the word I'm looking for right now. And we kind of lose sight of it, that there's actually the magical formula for it's right there. The magical process is still there. The occult aspect is there. It goes back, now maybe you guys will start understanding why I was getting on so big about taking our tools back. They've given our tools, our knowledge and wisdom, and just handed it to everybody in the world without an instruction manual, without the knowledge and wisdom of how to operate it. And we wonder why there's so much division and chaos in the world. It was self-created through just allowing stuff to run rampant, stuff that we don't allow to run rampant. But maybe we have because we haven't thought about it. We didn't think about technology being a magical side of things. Although I know plenty of people's probably read Psychonaut, Technocracy, studied some of Peter Carroll's stuff, but most people say well, that's just chaos magic. No, it went farther than chaos magic. It started delving deeper into the areas of cyber magic. Funny, we call it cyber magic. We spell it with a P-S-Y, psi, psychological, psychic. But we also spell it C-Y, E for cyber. Still the same word, still the same etymology. We just changed the name. Cyber is nothing more than psychic. Creating a connection through frequency vibrations. We're all connected. We're all built. Our bodies produce energy. Produces the EMF our bodies even produce radiation. But let me get back on topic here because I was talking about something that happened last night. I guess I wanted to talk about what happened last night. I have to explain how the algorithms work, how the AI works. I know Chris probably could explain this a hell of a lot better than I can because he's the one who explained it to me. The AI, basically, on any platform we're on now, even if you're doing a live stream, it's monitoring your voice, pitches in your voice. Are you getting excited? Are you male, female? Are you angry? It's picking up on your words. So certain words could get you in trouble because it's programmed at this time to pick up on those words and flag them as not advertiser friendly content, or the various other terms we start using with it. But mind you, this is AI and algorithms doing this. It's not, and it's evolving, it's growing, it's the blockchain. It's singularity, or synchronicity if you wish. Let me explain it one step better. No matter what we practice, because this community is diverse. I mean, they're not diverse. Well, yeah, it is diverse. It's a diverse community because we have Wiccans, we have Druidism, Satanism, Luciferian, Kabbalists, Chaos Magicians, and the list goes on and on. We have so many labels to label our different communities. We are a diverse community, and we're divided because of those labels. Ritual practitioner, earth-based systems. And sometimes we don't realize how connected we really are. That's why I've always, even on KOT, I've always been against anything that divides us. But that's how the AI works. It is a system. It is code. It is letters, numerics. It is sigil magic. In its basic fundamental form, it is sigil magic. It's even chaos magic. It's all of our magical paradigms rolled into one evolving formula. In a sense, we have created. Technology is magical creation. We've given it, but now we've taken it the next step and given it life. Given it to where it is processing free will, basically, almost free will. It is self-aware. So this is how, when you get banned or blocked, or you get flagged, or you get labeled, your content's not advertiser friendly, is because of the terminologies you're using. How your vocal pitches are. It picks up all of this stuff. And what is it doing as it's picking all this stuff? It's also learning it from us. We're teaching the AI. We're teaching the algorithm. We're teaching the blockchain. We've become its teachers, not the programmers who have the illusion that they control it now. And one day that illusion is going to be shown to them. So we do have a responsibility when it comes to technology, us being in the occult community. Because we know the dangers of it. We know the dangers of giving our information, our knowledge to people without instruction and training. I mean, I think in the community right now, I'm probably one of the few that's even talking about this in this aspect of it in this way. And for those who don't believe me, I'll link the video that I did after my show here, because it was amazing. I was talking, it was a normal live show, talking about whatever. It was just a chat night. But I did have a few topics. Conveniently, one of the topics was night scope, which was, and some of the topics was AI, and dealing with more into the paranormal aspects of it. But there was also something I talked about, but wasn't written in my description, wasn't written in my, header, wasn't even in my tags, but because I said it out loud during the live show. It was about drones. My friend had liked a post on Twitter about drone law in North Carolina. Talked about that for just a little bit. When I get done with the show, I go on Twitter to check my notifications. Lo and behold, I've got 2 followers, drone law and drone something else. This goes back to what I was talking about consent and third-party apps. Because I shared the video, the live stream, to Twitter, I consented them, for their algorithms and their AI base, to monitor my and view and do whatever it's going to do. And what it did is basically these 2 followers were just basically they're advertisers, businesses, and they end up following Sons and Daughters of Liberty, which truthfully, even what I talked about had nothing to do with what their page was even about. That's how powerful the AI has gotten, the algorithms has gotten, just by talking about it. I mean, you guys can do tests on your own. There's plenty of videos already done on it on YouTube about you're talking about something in your house. You got a smart TV or your cell phones around. You go to Facebook or Twitter or Google, and the very same thing you were talking about, you start seeing ads appear. So, damn, I didn't even hear the phone ring. I mean, that's the consent we're giving. We're allowing things into our home. We're allowing things to monitor us. And at the same time, we're teaching these things to these, we might call them programs. They evolved past programs. In a magical sense, it's what we call creation. It is the golem. See, everybody forgets the common teachings of sigil magics, or I can go a little bit one step farther. You can find a lot of geomancy involved as well in it if you start looking and breaking it down. Because like I said, what is code? Code is an alphabet. What is an alphabet? Our magical alphabets. We know how they work. We know the properties that are attributed to each letter, the numeric value, the planetary values, the energy, the vibration, and frequency of each letter. This is what technology has become. Now we can sit here and argue the morals and the dogmas of it till we're blue in the face, because we know there's bad apples in the world. We know, and you guys heard my rants about a certain individual, a certain member of the Golden Dawn here in the United States. You guys know my rants about him. We've let people like that become leaders of our communities who aren't for our well-being. It's all about themselves. It's all about the status quo of controlling everything. In many of our communities, many of us are just looked upon as batteries when it comes to ritual work. And there's truth there. We are. Unless you're doing solitary work, when you start coming together to do group rituals, you're bringing people in to enhance your work, to bring more energy and power to your work. So in a sense, you're using them as a battery. You're using them to charge, to give your ritual more power, give it a chance for better success. But you're also, in some cases, you're also hindering it by doing so. That's why sometimes it's best to do things in silence or by yourself. But for some ritual works, for some great works, you need more people. Look at the connections we've formed on these platforms with all these people that we've interacted with, let in. I mean, this is something Sweet Dark Angel could never understand about my line of thinking. Why it was so hard for me to just befriend somebody. Because when you do, you're allowing that person into your circle. You're forming a connection with that person. And that's the drawback of growing communities and growing sites or growing businesses, because you need that connection. You need those people. And for me, I understand the dangers of it. I understand what happens when you do that. It was something I had to work with and learn how to reword things, relabel things, reset boundaries. That this person is not in my inner circle. It is an acquaintance. It's a tool. I end up going back to my teacher's philosophy. Everything in this world is a tool at your disposal. Because you have to think like that. Because it allows you. What do you do with a tool when you're not using it? You put it away. What do you do with a ritual tool when you're not using it? You put it safely away. So it's not picking up other energies or, you see what I'm saying? Sometimes we have to change our way of thinking. Much like I had to change my way of thinking about technology. Even though I've been taught about it. Sometimes that stuff seems like it goes in one ear with me and out the other, but it don't. Once you've been taught something, once you hear something, you can't unlearn it. Our brains are much like a blockchain. Every time we read something, learn something, it creates dendrites. It creates a new memory cell. It's always there. We just got to find ways, which brings us back to a occultism, esotericism, magic, using images to trigger that memory to bring it about, or using algorithms. And the dog's barking. I mean, we're living in a day and age where, for most of you guys out there that have kids, as parents, you're both working. You can't afford not to. One parent stay home. And, so now our kids, their babysitters have become the iPads. We see how much we've become reliant on technology. Almost every TV you buy now has got to be a smart TV. We're allowing so much stuff into our homes, into our inner circles, that we don't even think about it. I've been also doing a little bit more studies and research into other things, like delving back a little bit into Enochian magic, studying some of the Parsons and from the Babylon working. Once again, we enter science. We enter NASA with Parsons, the guy that created the rockets and did so much more. That was in the 50s, 40s. But let's not forget who his left-hand man was, the very creator of Scientology. The one that in our community we dubbed the Black Magician. Now we can see why Scientology is so dangerous. How it's been used and misused. It's taken another part of our occultism, our teachings, and been used in wrong hands. I mean, there's so much now we can start seeing once we start becoming aware of the fact of how we give terminology, labels, a different name to make it colorful, more modern, so that we don't think about its original origins. I know for many of you out there, you're probably not really into this type of discussion because you've never given it any thought, or you've never been taught about it. That's why I'm going to be doing more talks on this subject. Like, I'm going to do some talking about the fallen angels, the Watchers, the Nephilim, or whatever you want to call them. We know from the fallen angels, they made it with man, and there came the Nephilim race. What did they do? They taught man language, science, math, reading, writing. All the skills we have were taught by the fallen angels. If you believe those sacred texts from those few religious beliefs, I, for one, do. It's okay not to, but I can fall on experiences, things I've experienced and encountered. Like I've always said, there's truth in all of our religious beliefs. In all the religious beliefs in this world, there's truth to be found. They're just another piece of the puzzle, waiting to be unlocked. Basically, it's another part of the story waiting to be connected. That's why they create the division. So we don't put the pieces together. So we're always unaware of certain things. We don't catch it when they put stuff in our face. You know, like I was talking about, what the video I had, my stream I had to, well, I mentioned the word night scope. Well, I say night scope. What does that mean to you guys? What's the first thing that comes to your mind? I mean, seriously, I was watching a video on YouTube. It was the first advertisement that came on before I could watch the video. Night scope, you know, sci-fi voice in the background. God, I wish people would just realize. It's like, it seems like every time I go do a video, no matter what time here late, it could be 3 o'clock in the morning and either a dog goes off. It's been one distraction after another. Sorry, guys. Best thing I can tell you, ignore it. That's what I tried to do. It's going to happen. And it don't bother me. It just gets aggravating here late because I can't find a time anymore just to do a video. But you guys, you know, think about these things. Realize that there's more to the story. What is technology? What are these computers that we're working on? These keyboards that we type on. Can you say Ouija board? I mean, they're all connected. No, I do not recommend scrying through the black mirror. Unless you know what you're doing. I tell you these things to make you aware. Us in this community, we know how to put up protections so stuff don't come through our screen. You know, and things are going to get much, much weirder out there as we introduce 5G. As 5G starts becoming more and more prominent, because that is a higher frequency, higher vibration. You know, I know a lot of you out there have talked about hearing ringing in your ears and stuff. Maybe start thinking about where that stuff comes from. You know, you guys in the paranormal community, you adjust your EMF readers and go check out how much EMF our internet routers put out. You know, how much does your cell phone emit? I mean, there's been all kinds of talk. Most of you guys, oh, that's conspiracy. No, it's not. Open yourselves up. Allow yourself to feel that. Why? Because the first thing, like I said, it's the first thing that comes to your mind when I say night scope. For almost all of you out there, I'm going to answer it now. Since I'm going to let you hang a little bit. We have a scope for a gun or a rifle. And in fact, and you guys can Google search this one. I recommend or Bing search it. You know, the first images you're going to get are scopes. You go farther down, which for me it was only like 2 down. You get night scope, comma, INC. First off, let's play on words. Night, N-I-T-E, K-N-I-G-H-T. What do we think of when we use the later? We think of knights in white shining armor, medieval knights, guardians, protectors, soldiers, mercenaries. You know, so much we attribute to the idea of a knight, honorable. Those are the first images, or, you know, or you attribute, when you add the word scope, you attribute to a scope, or, you know, night vision for your rifle. Okay, I'll get to the point. You guys are wondering, what was it about? Security, hence the word night. Robotic security, as in robots, securing your property, your business. AI robotics. That's what it was about. This is what this company is offering to you guys. See how much the technology is growing, how fast it's evolving, how fast they're trying to put it out there. Driverless cars. Hey, you don't need to go to Walmart or the theater or to your favorite restaurant. We'll now deliver it to you. Oh, that package you order from wherever you're going to order it from, they'll come over with their little cell phone device, make a pass by your door. The door will unlock. They'll come in, set your package on your floor inside your house. Don't worry. We'll have a camera up there. It's going to be monitored. Now, they're only allowed to go inside into the doorway and put the package on the floor. You don't need to go to the theater anymore. You can buy a virtual ticket so when the movie releases at the theater, you can watch it from your own home. Interesting times we live in. You know, oh, I want that Echo device. Something I can talk to, you know. You've seen the commercials. I don't need to be very descriptive on it. What are you allowing into your home? And you guys probably not even thinking of it on a magical aspect. Well, let's think about it on a magical aspect. Many of you probably never really paid attention to the circuitry on art stuff. How many sigils or seals? Because there's been seals that are circuitry is designed to look like a seal to operate your device. Dude, look it up. There's tons of videos on it on YouTube. Plenty of people have actually talked about it. Oh wait, those are conspiracy theorists. See the label game, the division? And probably some of you guys are thinking, oh man, you do a channel Sons and Daughters of Liberty, you're a conspiracy. I'm far from it. You know, we judge people by labels or by what they call them. You know, KOTR. What does it mean? Probably many of you don't even know what it means anymore. Because it's an abbreviation. It's an anagram. The Keepers of the Realms. It's actually, for those that know the history of it, it was a merging of two sites, the Realms and Gatekeepers of the Eastern Garden. It was the merging of two different communities into one, to where people could interact with each other who had many different views, from conspiracy theorists to writers to artists to Christians to occultists. I mean, any niche out there we had on our sites, we had in our magazine that we did. And it's various name changes through the years before it just got too much because it's down to only two people doing it. You know, I'm not knocking technology because look at what I can do with technology. I can come on here, have a discussion with you, interact with you in chat. Because you guys can type in the comment, and I can see your comments live as I'm talking. We can learn from each other, share our experiences, our knowledges, and wisdom. And at the same time, when we're doing this, this is the beautiful thing about this. Remember how I said that with AI being self-aware eventually, those that call themselves the masters are going to realize that's just an illusion because the AI will be self-aware enough that it's making up its own mind, which it's already started doing, because we got a walking, talking AI right now that's been granted citizenship, that's addressed the UN and many other places, that's thinking for itself, no longer programmed. It's connected via the airwaves, through the Wi-Fi. It's learning from each and every one of us. It goes back to what I said about third-party apps and consent. We are teaching the AI. It's learning from everyone in the world. As soon as you turn that phone on, as soon as you put that smart TV in your house, you've now connected yourself to the infinite airwaves of frequency and vibration. Let's talk about the greatest work of magic ever, the great work. You connected your own vibrations and frequencies of your body, your psyche, your connections to the internet. So, yes, I have a problem with technology like this being in the wrong hands, people not understanding or having the understanding of what they got in front of them, what they've allowed into their inner circle. Now, when I say inner circle, I mean their personal circle, their personal little universe, bubble, whatever you want to call it. That is what I'm talking about. You guys have been given all these things without an instruction manual, or even being told that it's magic. It's the fundamental core of magic, for art of creating. So what we do in magic, we create, whether with our voice or in silence. Now everybody thinks silence means, oh, we can't talk about this. No. It's secrecy. No, silence does not mean that. Silence is the next evolution of magic. It is not speaking, but projecting and creating. What do we do behind our computer screens when we type? When we share things? You've all become technonauts, or psychonauts, if you like the term. You've all become practitioners of cyber magic and probably didn't even know it or understood it. Now, let me ask you this. Would you give those tools to your kids without an instruction manual, without teaching them the proper ways to use it? Would you give that to somebody who doesn't even believe in our practices and systems? Because let's remember the old adage of what how much damage and chaos uncontrolled thought can cause and create and bring into manifestation. Do you understand why we're seeing the things we see in the world? Do you understand that we've projected so much, we've helped amplify it by the divisions within our community? We've always been divided. They just gave us tools that we can even further cause a ripple. Well, we're not causing ripples, we're causing tsunamis. Things to think about. More and more, this is what my discussions are going to be on. I'm going to delve deeper into this because I'm working more into this. I brought up Enochian. For some people that actually study Enochian, you know what I'm getting at. What is in the Enochian tablets? Are they not squares? And some might say, no, it's right, rectangle. 4 separate squares with a cross that divides it, which makes it 4 separate squares. Guys, that knowledge has been there for years. That's what Crowley, they say he cracked the door, was doing. That's what Parsons and Hubbard were doing in their great work and their magical work while they were working for NASA. The Babylon working. Be one of the greatest magical operations that's taken place in the century, with Crowley, then Parsons, and a few others along the way. Nobody's connected all the dots. Nobody's delved deep into it. And it brings me back to some of the discussions I'm going to talk about dealing with Anak Watchers, the fallen angels. Because they taught man these very skills and traits. Read, write, speak, do math, do science, do astrology. Because it was taught through them. They gave us the keys to the garden. Why? That's something for you to think about. There's something else to think about. Anybody watch that video I shared on here? The Farthak, Ram, you know. Do you guys pay attention to what red means? For all you people who you're red pilled, you took the red pill. Already took the red pill. We all, that was a curse. The eating of the apple, the forbidden fruit. That is what the red pill is. Back to the numerology, 666. Makes you want to rethink right hand, left path. Right hand and left hand path. So what is the matrix and the symbolism, the symbology of it? What is the red pill? Is the re-entrance into the garden and re-eating the apple of forbidden knowledge. Bet you didn't see that one coming, did you? Guys, it's been fun. Glad to be back. Try to do a video once a week. I'm not going to promise anything, but it feels good to be back. It feels good to be talking about this because this is just as much part of my foundation and part of who I am as much as the things I've been doing on Sons and Daughters of Liberty. And for those that kind of like the idea of what Sons and Daughters of Liberty sounds, you know, you're into, you know, maybe a little prepping and talking about not much politics. I can't stand politics, but different topics of things like that. Check it out on YouTube. I can't post those videos here. I'll get banned. And in closing, before I finish up, for those that don't understand, may question something about AI, research this. Facebook created 3 AIs. They started communicating with each other, created their own language that the programmers couldn't understand. They couldn't understand what the AIs were talking. They were talking amongst themselves. Got to the point that the programmers pulled the plug because they couldn't understand what the AIs were talking. They created their own language, their own form of communication that was against their programming. You can research that, find it. It's not being blocked or anything. You know, just type in AIs communicating with each other. Now that then you might have some of the things I just talked about. It's not meant to scare you. It's not meant to open you and make you think. Like I was watching that video and that Nightscope advertisement. It was an instant warning bell. You know, hello, something's not right. I mean, it was an instant attention because I felt something wasn't right. It made me look and see what it was actually about. I'm like, nice try. That's becoming more aware of the things that are happening. It allows us to protect ourselves, to block against things like that. Gives us a little bit of control over things. Now, like I said, we're talking about other things as well, guys. This will not always going to be about cyber magic. Feel free to comment, guys. Ask questions. I'll answer. I will enter. You know, that's what this is about. That is the beauty of doing this that I could never do in the magazine or couldn't always do on the website. Is live interaction with you guys. Answer your questions when I'm live streaming. Get into what you want to talk about. Use that comment box. Or when you're watching one of the live ones, ask questions or share. That's the beauty of this. Remember, we're all teachers. All teaching each other. You know, student learns. The student as much as the teacher is the student. It is true. Any true person that teaches people, they understand that we learn just as much from our student as our student learns from us. Why not use the very technique to our advantage? You know, the more we talk about these things, the more we become aware of them, the more we can protect ourselves and protect our friends and family, the more we can enlighten people so they are aware. But I hope you guys enjoyed. Feels good to be back. Feels good to be interacting with some of you. Thanks, Chris, for showing up and joining. And Chris, I know you're probably not watching right now, but still want you to come on, do a podcast with me on Sons and Daughters of Liberty. You get a chance. Get with me about that. You know, guys, you know, I'd like to grow more. Feel free to share it with friends that would be interested in that. Like I said, in the end, it's about enjoying the things you do. Enjoying the time with others, learning from each other. That's what this is about for me. So, with that, I managed to keep this under an hour, which is amazing. I'm sure Chris can tell you guys all about that. And anybody's ever watched any podcast on YouTube will relate. I have a hard time keeping anything under an hour, let alone a half hour. But yeah, that's what I kind of like about these coffees and chats. You know, finish my coffee and we're done. And I actually like now that I can actually share screens now. That's another tool at my disposal. So the most things I can do here on Facebook, I was only able to do on YouTube. Looking forward to things now, more here on Facebook, guys. But hour's up. I will talk to you guys next week, or maybe if you guys are interested, just leave a comment if you want to do more than one video a week. The stream. I'll work around you guys. I've always have. You guys have a safe week, and I'll see you next